Will there be any real action now on Capitol Hill from both sides of the aisle? Democratic Congressman from Illinois, Raja Krishnamoorthi, and former Republican Congressman from Utah and Fox News contributor Jason Chaffetz. Great to have both of you gentlemen with us tonight.
Thanks, Shannon.
Hi, Shannon.
Okay, I want to start with this tweet from Parkland survivor David Hogg. He says, get ready for 2 weeks of media coverage of politicians acting like they give a blank, when in reality they just want to boost their approval ratings before midterms. Jason, we'll start with you.
Oh, that's kind of offensive. I think that a lot of people on both sides of the aisle want to do exactly what J.T. Lewis is advocating. They want to strengthen and fortify the schools. Now, a lot of that's not going to happen in the federal government. It's going to happen at the state, the community level, through the school districts and the counties. And each school is going to have to take that self-assessment. But I really do want to fortify the schools. And yet again, I think that would help. It would actually make a difference. And the second point is the funding of mental health at the county level. The federal government can and should do that. I think those two things would make the most dramatic difference and would have actually prevented a lot of what we've seen over the last 2 years in these school shootings.
Well, it's interesting because Texas Senator John Cornyn, he mentioned that today. He talked about something that was passed about a year and a half ago, at least on the Senate side. Well, it didn't actually get passed. I went back and looked at the bill. It was supposed to provide all kinds of mental health screening and help, the things that you're talking about, Jason. I found it got to the committee, and that's it. I mean, Congressman, what more can be done to get something concrete passed if we agree that's at least part of the problem, the mental health issue?
I personally think that Jason is correct. We have to look at these different measures that he's talking about, school safety, as well as putting a focus on mental health. But there's another part of this that we also have to talk about, and that is gun safety measures. There's the vast majority of voters, Democrats and Republicans, believe in, for instance, universal background checks. That's something that we've talked about, but we haven't actually implemented, and it's time for action. After one of the worst mass shootings in U.S. history, the Las Vegas mass shooting, everybody talked about banning bump stocks. In fact, Republicans introduced legislation on this, to their credit, in the House, and it went nowhere. And so now we have to act. It's we can't continue with these mass shootings.
Yeah, and I know that the Department of Justice has introduced a proposed reg that would essentially lead to classifying bump stocks as machine guns, which would put them under exceptionally tough restrictions as far as trying to get your hands on one. Essentially, to most people, it would equate to outlawing them, but that's in the comment and review process now. Something else from the professor I mentioned in last segment who studies the shootings, Professor James Allen Fox out of Northeastern. He says, the thing to remember is that these are extremely rare events, and no matter what you can come up with to prevent it, the shooter will have a workaround. I want to get you both to respond. Jason, you first.
I don't think you just throw up your hands. I actually think an armed officer, whether it's from the local police force or somebody similar, is a comforting thing to kids and families and teachers and parents and administrators who see this horrific thing on television on an all too regular basis. These people who overthink these issues and say, hey, we don't want to scare the kids, let them learn that the police are the good guys. They're not the bad guys. Then they're there to protect them. And I think parents and kids overwhelmingly would feel more safe and secure in a school that they knew that they had somebody that could take care of business if something's going wrong.
Congressman, what do you make of that? That no matter what you come up with, that the shooter would work around it, according to this professor.
I disagree with that, and I agree with Jason. We can't just throw up our hands and say, woe is me, we can't do anything about this. We've had 6 mass shootings in the Trump administration alone, in the Trump years alone. It's been 19 years since Columbine, and we still haven't done anything on Capitol Hill significant in this area. It's time we act. Governor Abbott was correct. Thoughts and prayers are not enough. It's time to act, and I hope that he will take action at the state level, which apparently he's going to start doing next week, and we in Capitol Hill follow suit. In Florida, they took some measures. In Texas, hopefully they'll do the same, and we in Capitol Hill need to follow suit.
Well, as one commentator noted today, who writes extensively on this topic, none of it is easy to do, but it is worth discussing and doing. Everybody agrees there's a problem. Whether we agree on the solutions, there's some work to be done on that.
And we have to do it in a bipartisan way, Shannon.
Congressman, Jason, great to have both of you with us tonight.